Network Entertainment.
First, you look into yourself. There can be a strength inside of you that you have never discovered. At yun ang beauty ng darkness. Kasi sometimes, we live superficial lives. Parang we just skate on the surface.
Right.
And then what happens is, kung nag-crack yung ice na yan, bagsak ka, papasok, no? You have no choice but to swim up.
Right.
At dun mo malalaman yung inner strength mo. Dig deep, look up, look forward, and then take that step. Kasi walang tutulong sa'yo kung hindi sarili mo eh.
Right.
You have to help yourself. But I've always been a firm believer of faith. And kasi may tendency tayo to look back, feel sorry for ourselves, self-flagellate, ang pinagkagawa mo sa buhay mo. Hindi eh, wasted time yun eh. So parang move forward ka na lang. But of course, it is easier said than done. There's nothing wrong with going through therapy. They have the expertise to help you move forward. Because when you're really deep down in the depths, you need a lifeguard to help you out.
Hi, this is Mirza Sison. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go! Have you ever hit rock bottom and wondered if you could ever rebuild your life? A painful breakup, a failed business, or an unexpected life detour can make starting over feel impossible. But sometimes the lowest points become the turning points that lead to something even greater. Our guest today knows exactly what it takes to rise from the ashes. After her marriage fell apart when her kids were still young, she transformed her heartbreak into healing, not just for herself, but for others. In 2001, she created a little sanctuary in Tagaytay called Nurture, where women could rediscover their self-worth, strength, and resilience. It has since grown into the sprawling Nurture Wellness Village, which she owns with her husband, Mike Turvill. A pioneer in the Philippine spa and wellness industries, she's now the president of the Wellness Tourism Association of the Philippines, an internationally certified health and wellness coach, nutritional therapist, chef coach, living foods educator, and author. She has been named by the Department of Tourism as a woman of significance in entrepreneurship, outstanding woman entrepreneur by the ASEAN Women's Entrepreneurs Network, and Filipina Starpreneur by Go Negosyo. Please welcome Cathy Brillantes Turvill.
Thank you very much, Mirza. Thank you for the honor of being here with your podcast. Maraming salamat.
Ang formal naman.
Salamat, Mirza.
So happy International Women's Month.
Yeah.
And for Women's Month, we're going to have a series of stories of inspiring women conquering the odds and breaking ground, such as yourself. So
Thank you.
I remember meeting you for the first time in 2001.
I know.
We had a photo shoot for Cosmo when I was still EIC.
Okay.
And I even had a massage.
Okay.
But then it was very small. How small was it then?
Well, we started with 1,800 square meters of nothingness.
Okay.
Right. Just coffee trees. And then at the time, I'm sure you're very kind. It was very, a kind term would be rustic, but it was really put together very hastily because wala naman akong budget talaga nun.
Right.
Yeah, so that was 24 years ago.
Wow. And now, how big is it now?
Well, Nurture itself is currently almost a hectare, but we have purchased the land next door, so that's another 2,700 square meters. And then we actually expanded outside of Tagaytay, but walking distance in Amadeo.
Right.
So we have another around 3,000 square meters there.
Right. So we met again during the pandemic when my husband Andre's family put up Farmer's Table, the restaurant in Nurture.
The very famous Farmer's Table. Grabe. Yeah.
So, storytelling time. Handa na ba ang tissue?
Hinanda ko na dito. Nasa tabi ko.
So tell us briefly the story of how Nurture was born out of the darkest days of your life. What happened then? How old were you? And tell us what was happening in your life.
Well, I used to work with the airline, and then I put up my own consulting company, and I was doing quite well, actually. And then what happened was we had problems. And
we meaning you and your ex-husband.
Yeah, my ex-husband. And it was a difficult phase because, no woman would want a marriage to fail. So, syempre, try to do everything you can. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle talaga because you're fighting against all odds. Society, this is like how many years ago, right?
Right.
So, and at the same time, my kids were small. So, my major concern were yung kids, hindi pwedeng maghiwalay. No
Right.
way, no
Right.
way. Pero, tumakbo nga ako sa parish priest ko eh. Sabi ko, sis, Father, ano gagawin ko, you know? And I even had a counselor, etc. And then I was being very candid, mental health issue na. Parang I was even considering self-harm.
Oh, no.
So sabi ng ganon, tama na yun. And you have every right to leave. Okay, you have to leave. Physically leave. Sabi nga ng counselor ko, if I will have to pull you out of the house, I'll pull you out of the house. Kasi hindi na maganda nangyayari. And then, I was brought up, super convent bred ako eh. Okay, I went to Catholic school, etc. So pumunta ako sa parish priest, sabi ko, Father, kung aalis ako, he was a Canadian priest actually, so English to. So
Pwede namang English.
so sabi ko, Father, if I leave the house, wala, I'll be the biggest sinner in the world. And it's like I felt na talagang magbubukas yung heavens.
Oh my
magiging
gosh,
hell,
wow.
And I was going to go straight to hell. And
Super
sabi niya,
religious talaga.
yeah, sobra. And sabi niya, no, Kath, it's okay. God loves you. So parang hindi ako makapaniwala. So anyway, literally, the counselor said, okay, it's okay. You can leave. It's all right. So ayun, so took that big step and literally, Mirza, I really thought that the world was gonna open up, magsastop ang buong mundo. And then when I left, parang, wow, tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman yung mundo. Parang, life went on.
Life went on.
Yeah, so sabi ko, okay. Yeah, so there. And of course, I was super concerned about the kids. Paano yung mga bata? Because syempre, isipin mo, ano mangyayari? So I read a lot of books. I went to their school to talk to their principal. I talked to their guidance counselor and I said, this is what's going on in the kids' lives. What's the best way to do it? I read so many books on how to lessen the impact on the kids. And that was a super difficult time because there's so much challenge.
Right.
Talagang ang daming societal pressure, ang daming
Right.
familial pressure, ang daming self-hate,
Right.
ang daming magulo. It was a very difficult
I
time.
read in one of your interviews that you went for a massage and it was very healing. And then you also went to the Pink Sisters Convent
Yeah.
in Tagaytay and that was also very healing. Tell
Right.
us about how you thought of combining the two ideas.
Yeah, to cope, here in Manila, I used to go to the spa,
Yeah.
this original one. Meron silang jacuzzi noon, yung
Right.
may wet room. No? So I'd go there to just cry. Kasi when you're going through a really dark phase, you have to be able to, I think, anyway, release your emotions.
I did
Kasi
that
kung
too,
hindi-
also in the spa and also in the jacuzzi.
Okay. So yun, iyak ka kasi wala mo
Right.
nakakita, di ba? And then, I'd drive up to Tagaytay, tapos I'd go to, kasi nga, Catholic school bred, no? So I'd go up to the Pink Sisters para naman mag-pray. Yun nga lang, parang feeling mo, I grew up nga with mga madre, di ba? Parang stricto sila. Parang, very Spartan. So sabi ko gano'n, ganda sana kung meron isang place na you can combine the massage in more comfortable
Right.
environment. So gano'n yun nangyari. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so what happened after you had that idea?
Okay, so wala akong pera. Okay, so I was driving around and then I saw this little man. Noong una, dream ko, sige, because I'm from Baguio. Malayo ang Baguio, so Tagaytay na lang. Dream ko sana, ang ganda sana, overlooking, di ba? Social. Mahal nun. So I went to the other side, barangay maitim, literally.
Right.
And kadiliman talaga nun, walang-wala. And then I saw this little man, si Mang Pino, and I asked, magkano ba to? And then nagbigay siya ng presyo na parang hindi ko pa rin kaya. Sabi ko, Mang Pino, pwede bang chop-chop? Aba, pumayag. Malaking problema ko ngayon. Paano ko babayaran si Mang Pino? Saan ko kukuha ng pera? Buti lang, Mirza, it's so important. Meron ng pera from my own business. I was doing consulting.
You had your own money.
And that was so important. Pero konti lang, no? Konti lang. So, I felt that gave me the ability to be able to manage my life in a
Right.
very difficult situation.
Right.
And that's something which really is so important to me right now. For women, dapat financially independent ka para you can make your decision. So, kahit na mahirap yung decision, kung meron kang financial independence ka, hindi ka held hostage in a situation. And in many ways, that's something that I hold very closely to my heart.
Right.
So yun, nag-umpisa kami, no? walang. Tapos yung masaya pa nun, So I just had a dream. I just had a concept, okay, which was put the massage in a very nice place. Okay, and then I met this contractor. Ano siya, I shared my vision with him. So he started it. And then, bigla niya ako tinakbuhan.
Oh no.
Yung konting pera, tinakbuhan niya
Oh
ako.
my
So that
God.
was really difficult.
Hindi pa tapos.
Ay, as in, mukha talaga
Oh, so
siyang
nakatiwangwang lang.
as
Oh
in talagang
no. Right.
construction ground talaga. And I couldn't move forward. I couldn't move backward either. Kasi ubos na yung pera eh.
What was going on through your mind?
Panic.
Okay. More crying.
Oh yeah, panic, hopelessness, helplessness. Parang ano ba? Ano ba? Ano ginawa ko to deserve this? But at the same time, I was so concerned about the kids. So what would happen was I would drive up and down para kasi the kids were in school. Maliit pa sila noon. Okay, so I would drive. Akit ako ng Tagaytay early in the morning. Pagkahatid ko sila sa kanila sa school. I drive up to Tagaytay and then sort of supervise the construction. Wala naman ako alam sa construction. And then drive back na naman so that when they come out of class, akong unang nakikita nila. So it's like, ang daming balls na juggle to manage it. Pero, ayun, nag-survive.
Right. And then how did you get out of that rut or the predicament?
Well, angels came to my life. So, sunod-sunod, and ito talang learning ko. So, in the very difficult situation, lilipas rin yun eh. Because nurture was all about, be careful. Because when you are messed up emotionally, you can be doing stupid things.
Right.
So, you have to stop. Stop ka lang muna. Huwag ka munang pagbumalaw. So, I went up to Tagaytay to stop. So, ayun. So, stop muna. And then, I met people. So, tinakbahan na ako ng contractor. And at that time, kasi wala nga kami ng husband ko, ex-husband ko, parang we were doing joint custody. So, I would have the kids 1 week on, 1 week off. Parang nasira ang ulo ko kung mag-isa ako sa bahay, no? So, I joined the running club.
Okay.
Kasi importante, that's another thing I learned also, Maris, no? That hindi ka pwedeng nandun ka lang. And then you go deeper and deeper into the cave
You
or into
spiral.
the hole. You spiral. So, kailangan mong tulungan sarili mo. So, lumabas ka out of your comfort zone. Sabi ko, wala akong masyadong kaibigan. Kasi at that point, kung hiwalay ka, parang naging paraya ka.
Right.
So,
I didn't realize that in 2001, ganun pa rin.
oh yeah, oo.
Okay.
At saka it can be pwedeng hindi outright, pero you feel it.
Right.
So it's a very lonely place, a super super lonely place. So ayun, that's where the vision of nurture came about. Na ang ganda sana if there's a place where a woman could run to, na kahit na kumakain mag-isa, hindi ka titignan na masama na namimika pa to.
Oh my gosh, ganun ba ang
Oo
tingin?
naman, marami
Oh,
dyan. So
wow.
at that time, so that's what, that was the vision. So I started with a contractor, then he left, and then I joined the running club, and that's where I met Mike, yun ang unang angel.
Right.
Okay, and then, people came into my life and helped me put up nurture, basically.
Wow. So what if you didn't meet Mike? If you look back, what would you have done?
If I didn't meet Mike,
Because for those listening, we don't want to tell you gotta meet someone. You gotta
You are
meet an
right.
angel, right? But looking back, what would you have done?
I think you have to look into yourself at maghanap. Doon magaling ang Pinoy, I think We're maparaan.
Right.
So,
Maghanap ng paraan.
Oo. So, kung hindi ko na-meet si Mike, I don't know, I would have just found ways to survive.
Right.
At dyan magaling ang Pinoy. So, ayun. So, I met Mike. He asked me nga, parang, what are you trying to do here? Kasi mukha talagang,
Right.
disaster zone.
So he helped you with the business side.
Oh, yeah. Kasi medyo right brain ako siya. So he said, what are you wanting to do here? I said, I want to put up a sanctuary for women where women could find themselves, okay, and just be still. O sabi niya, what's your business plan? Sabi ko, what's a business plan? Background ko kasi HR and OD.
Right.
So, ayun, so sabi niya, sige, let's plan. I'll help you make your plan. And ayun. So that started. So we're able to put it together. He invested, put it together, and slowly, ayun. When we're almost finished, maganda, medyo maayos na yung nurture. The second angel came to my life, sandali, bago pala noon, para matapos yung construction, na-meet ko si Willie Requiestas, yung
Right.
architect, who until now is a friend. So yun nakakatawa nun, sabi ng gano'n, what are you planning to do? And sabi ko gano'n, I just want to put up a place, no? And then I didn't know have naman budget. So I had a friend who was going through a separation as well.
Oh.
So I bought her windows and her doors.
Okay.
And at yun ang umpisa ng nurture. Willie put together with the contractor, si Danny, put together the windows and doors, made it a building, and yun ang first nurture.
Right.
Tapos sa kabila, meron rin maliit na lugar, ginawa niyang first nurture.
Right.
Ayan. Tapos, after that, I met Lynette Villariba of Philippine Daily Inquirer. Finiture na kami. Ayun, and the rest is history.
That's when it took off.
Yeah.
Right.
What's up, Kingdom fam? Yuki and Ingrid here from the Kingdom Podcast. Are you someone who has fully integrated K-pop into your life? Or keep up with the latest K-pop comebacks, news, and scandals?
Do you also dream about getting married to your bias and having their babies in the future? Well, you're in the right... What? I'm just being honest.
Look, you know what? Let's just get back to it. At the Kingdom Podcast, we dive into the latest comebacks, dissect the music videos, and do deep dives on controversies.
Not only do I make things informative, but we also keep it fun. It'll be just like listening to a group of friends who love K-pop as much as you.
You won't find another podcast that's as fun and unfiltered as ours.
So, if you're ready for some K-pop chaos, grab your nightsticks and tune in.
Check out the Kingdom Podcast.
Stream it on all your favorite podcast platforms. Stay awesome, Kingdom fam! I thought that was pretty good. What do you think?
Marrying your bias and having their babies? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So if the angels don't come into your life, what should one do? I guess seek support. What do you think? Look for people who can help you
Yeah.
with your dream.
I think if there are no angels in your life, first you look into yourself. Kasi that's one thing you learn that there can be a strength inside of you that you have never discovered. At yun ang beauty ng darkness.
Oh.
Kasi sometimes we live superficial lives. Parang we just skate on the surface.
Right.
And then what happens is, kung nag-crack yung ice na yan, bagsak ka, papasok, no? You have no choice but to swim up.
Right.
At dun mo malalaman yung inner strength mo.
Wow.
Dun mo malalaman yung inner strength mo. And to make that happen, dig deep and go up.
Right.
And I always think, okay, look up and look forward. So dig deep, look up, look forward. And then take that step. Kasi walang tutulong sa'yo kung hindi sarili mo.
Right.
You have to help yourself. But I've always been a firm believer of faith, no? So,
Right.
laking tulong talaga yun sa akin.
So dig deep, look up, and look
take
forward.
a step
and
forward.
move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And kasi may tendency tayo to look back, feel sorry for ourselves, self-flagellate, and
Right.
gagawa mo sa buhay mo. Hindi wasted time yun So parang move forward ka na lang. But of course, it is easier said than done.
Right. A lot of people will say, bakit ako? Why me? What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, oo.
How do you suggest one snaps out of that?
I think you give yourself, this is what I tell my kids, give yourself a few minutes or half a day or an hour to feel sorry for yourself.
And a massage.
Yeah. Pero alam mo, totoo yan, touch therapy yun.
Okay.
Kasi give yourself time. Kasi your emotions, your feelings are valid Kasi if you question your feelings, dadami na naman yung problema mo. No? So you give yourself time to feel your feelings, and then after that, you say, okay, all right, what can I do now? How can I move
Right.
forward? Ayun, and then get a support system.
Right.
So I was very lucky. I went through therapy. Laking
Oh,
tulong talaga
okay.
nun. There's nothing wrong with going through therapy kasi
Right.
kung kailangan mo ng tulong, that's actually a helping hand So, and then they have the expertise to help you move forward. Because when you're really deep down in the depths, you need a lifeguard to help you up. Ayun, therapy can do that. Friends can do that. But a therapist would have the professional capability to help you move forward.
Right. And also a massage therapist, right? Tell us more about touch therapy and how it can heal.
Actually, even in nurture, alam mo, this touch therapy is a way of helping a person feel loved. And we've had cases wherein we've had guests come to nurture. Meron yung talagang malabo, yung talagang considering self-harm.
Oh.
Pero yung And we've had this as a review. Parang the touch of your therapist, Mommy Sol, just brought me back from the edge. And
Oh my
so touch
gosh.
therapy is so important in today's life, in today's very busy life. Sabi nga nila, everybody, we are touch starved, and that's something that can really help. And that's why I think when we talk about wellness, massage is so important. It's not about pampering. It's all about care. It's all about self-care, which is so
Right.
important.
Right. Speaking of self-care, you created a space where women could be alone without being judged.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many Filipinas especially struggle with the idea of being alone? Like, I remember even as a teenager, I ate alone, watched movies alone, and people found it weird. And what's your recommendation for them to maybe not be so afraid of solitude and
Yeah.
learn to?
I think there's so much societal conditioning kasi. As Filipinos kasi, we're very family-oriented. We're
Right.
very others-oriented.
Right.
So to be alone is seen as being selfish, is seen as being weird, right? But I think right now, I think it's getting there that being alone is perfectly okay. I think it's essential to be alone kasi that's a time that you grow.
Right.
That's a time that you look into yourself and say, okay, what am I learning from this? For example, big problems are learning situations. For example, that whole thing about nurture just made me realize so many things. That one, it is such a cliche, things get better. You just have to, yun nga, no? May bridge yan eh. It's swinging, hanging bridge yun. May magsasabi, kaya mo dyan. Magsasabi sa kabila, kaya mo yan. But ikaw lang makakalakad nun eh. So that's where you realize you do have to take those tentative steps. And number one, make sure you don't do anything stupid. Because napakadali. You go on a shopping spree. Pag tingin mo, wala kang pera, ang laki-laki ng credit card bill mo, wala ka pang pera, nadagdagan na naman yung problema mo, right? Or else you can do really crazy things.
Right.
Yeah, so be still. And that's where the spa comes in. If you're really feeling sad, have touch therapy. And our therapists are trained, kung umiiyak yung tao, okay lang yan. It's a release. It's a release. So don't panic. It's perfectly okay. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have programs for women undergoing such struggles? Specific programs?
No, we haven't done any specific programs,
Right.
but we teach our therapists to be sensitive.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of times yung therapists namin parang psychotherapists.
Talaga?
kasi people sometimes have all of these
They
feelings
unload.
bottled up, and then they just need someone to talk to.
True.
And yung listening ear lang naman ang kailangan talaga eh. Yung
Right.
caring, they know that they're cared for, they're being listened to. Kasi the aloneness comes from the feeling that nobody cares, that you are totally alone in this world. And that's where the feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and sometimes self-harm comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
So besides the fear of being alone, a lot of women are held back by the fear of failure, the fear of starting again. I'm sure you even thought, I'm not young anymore. Paano na to? How did you overcome all that?
Ano na lahat, talaga sige lang ng sige. Sabi mo nga, you can do it, right? And that's where you realize the biggest failures are really the biggest opportunities for you to discover yourself. You discover na kaya mo pala, meron pala akong strength na I never realized I had, no? And then you get to know yourself. You also get to know others who can support you. You get to know who your real friends are. So yeah, when something like that happens, again, dig deep, look up, move forward. But
Right.
very important, be still.
Right.
Be still for a while.
And then reach out.
Reach out for help. So important. Marami naman dyan tumutulong ngayon eh. Dami na. Compared to before, right now there's just so much
Or
help.
some women are embarrassed to tell others about their problems.
Yeah.
What is your advice for that?
Yun, yung may fear of failure, yung especially
Parang nakakahiya sabihin ko anong nangyayari.
Yeah.
So, wag na lang.
maghanap ng support system.
Right,
Ayan. And that's where you find out who your true friends are.
Right.
Diba? They're willing to be with you in the deepest, darkest moments of your life. So parang reach out. I think that's so important. Huwag ka lang magmukmuk dyan sa kwarto mo feeling sorry for yourself. Kasi walang mangyayari eh. Walang mangyayari.
And now you can have online therapists and be anonymous, right?
Yeah. And I think yung anonymity is really important. I think that's important to people. And I think more than anything else, Mirs, it's really saying it's all right to not be okay.
Okay.
Kasi there's so much pressure na dapat perfect ka. Dapat you're upbeat all of the time. But it's perfectly okay to say, look, it's okay not to be okay
Right.
for a while. And then you just move forward. Ang daming pressure kasi to be perfect.
Yeah.
Diba? And then a lot of times, Mirs, we put that pressure on ourselves.
Super. We're the worst.
Diba? We're the worst. We are so self-flagellating. Sabi nga nila, would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself? Diba? So,
Right.
yun. Be self-love. Don't be
Right.
so harsh on yourself. But it's easier said than done. Promise.
If you could go back and talk to yourself during your darkest days, what would you say to yourself?
I would say, if I was there during my darkest days, it's really, really difficult now. But believe it or not, it's going to get better. And this will be the beginning of learnings that you can apply. And you know what? You'll never believe it, that this will become good. This bad will become good. You just have to believe that. You just have to believe that. I know it's hard at this point, but just keep on moving forward. It's going to get better. It's going to get better.
What were some of those baby steps that you would take just to move forward? Kahit na hirap ka.
Join a group.
Okay,
Yan.
join a running club.
Yung maganda kasi sa running club na yun, you're anonymous eh. Walang nagja-judge sa'yo. Oo. Kaya, yung maganda, pati pangalan, hindi din nagsishare. So,
Talaga?
Oo, yun ang maganda. And it was an expat club. So, it's a different culture you're learning. And nobody really cares. Kasi, sorry to say, dito sa society natin, ang daming marites, ang daming nakikialam sa buhay-buhay mo.
That's so
diba?
true.
So, parang, dun, joining a running club like that, nobody really cared. So, good. It was very refreshing. It was really helpful to be anonymous and be able to go through your difficult journey without so much judgment and marites all around you.
Right. So now you have tips for us
Yeah.
about bouncing back when your life falls apart.
Okay.
Besides those that you already mentioned.
Ayun, when your life is falling apart, again, dig deep but believe in yourself. Kaya mo to. Don't fall into the rut of saying, wala na, this is it, the end of it. Because you know what? The end is a beginning. I know that's so cliche. The end is a beginning, and a lot of times the beginning is of something beautiful is just there. Kailangan mo lang tignan. So, more than anything else, alam mo, in our bathroom, meron akong parang saying doon, choices. So, are you going to live this day in fear, or are you going to live this day in faith? Are you going to look at life as in you're a failure, or are you going to look at it as a beginning of success? So parang ganon. It's all about choices that you make. Your mindset, I think, is really, really important. Again, it's easier said than done, but again, believe in yourself. Believe in there's something good waiting out there. Nelson Mandela said from his cell, he would look, and he wouldn't look at the darkness of his cell. He would look at the light, the little glimmer of light. So ganon rin siguro. Yeah. Kasi no matter what, hang in there. Things will get better.
Right.
Yeah.
And now that from a little tiny spa, you now have like a whole nurture village. What do you want to tell struggling Cathy from 2001 about how that impulse of asking the manong
Yeah.
will actually lead to that?
You know what? I can't believe it. Yung parang, Cathy, you were so down before. What I wanted to do really, Mears, now is really be able to use my story to help people rin. So it's very much an advocacy. And what I'm really happy about Nurture right now, nakakatulong talaga sa mga tao, yung therapist namin, kasi we hire from the barangay. So doon naman ako na parang out of this horrible, horrible situation, naging gift.
Right.
Wherein we were able to give back and help people. And doon naman so when I look back, parang, is this the reason why everything happened? And maybe it is.
Right.
Kasi it's like the wounded healer. Hindi mo malalaman kung paano makatulong kung hindi ka dumaan sa ganon. So there's more compassion, naintindihan mo. And yeah, and I'm just so grateful to be in a place wherein nakakatulong sa iba.
Right. So if there are listeners out there who feel like their lives have completely fallen apart, they're terrified, they feel stuck, what's the one piece of advice that you want to give them?
I still say pray, okay?
Right.
Pray, pray, pray. Have faith. Believe. Look up there. Again, look up, and then be still. Go forward, and believe it or not, things will get better. I know it sounds really horrid if you're listening right now and you're in a really, really bad spot. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Promise.
And you can transform the pain into purpose.
Oh, totally.
Just like you
Totally.
did.
And then you discover why. Because when you're going through a difficult thing, you're going to say, why? And then in hindsight, you're going to say, kaya.
Right.
And then the story takes shape.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can connect the dots.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
backward, as Steve Jobs said.
Yeah. Because initially it's just like, it's a mess.
Right.
Kaya pala, you find out it's a mosaic and it comes up, you end up with a beautiful picture in the
Right.
end. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cathy.
Thank you, Mirza. Thank you so much for this chance.
So inspiring.
Thank you.
Do you want to invite our listeners and viewers
Yeah.
to...
Yeah, please, may I invite you, if you're in a happy spot, bad spot, whatever spot, do come. If you found the one or if you haven't found the one, that's okay. If wherever you are in your journey, come to Nurture. We're here to care for you. That's why we call ourselves Nurture. And that's why it's called Nurture. We're here to nurture you. Our therapists, our homegrown therapists are mga nanay. So meron silang healing touch. Hindi sila yung ganyan-ganyan lang. Meron silang healing touch and they're professional trained. So come, we want to care for you. Our massage is called aruga.
Oh.
So aarugain ka namin. If you're longing to be cared for, we're here for you. We're in Tagaytay, nurturewellnessvillage.com.ph. Come visit us. We will love to take care of you.
And I heard the food's really good in the restaurant there.
Sobra.
Called Farmer's Table.
Mag-reserve ka nga lang. Grabe, 2-week waiting time. 2-hour waiting time. Yeah, but they're great. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cathy.
Thank you,
and happy
Mirza.
Women's Month.
Yeah, kaya natin yan. We can do it.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit mirza.com. That's MYRZA.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.